Hello, my name is Paul McCarthy with Hero Facility Services, and welcome to episode 20 something of Facility Services. Today, I'm blessed and honored to have Liz Cox with Tractor Supply on me. Hey, Liz, how are you?
Hey, Paul. Doing good after some technical difficulties, but good
We did have
otherwise.
some technical difficulties, but that's a fun thing about live shows is you
Hmm.
never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah, could be anything.
So, first of all, I want to congratulate you because you were voted Young Professional of the Year by Connex FM.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
congratulations for that.
Thank you.
So, it's funny. Steve Ward, who was on the show last week,
Mhm.
mentioned that I'm getting all the rock stars, and I will say that I'm blessed. I've done over 20 of these, and I've had some great people on, and you're just going
Yeah.
to add to the list.
Oh, well, thank you. It's an honor, and I appreciate it. Uh, yeah, up there with some heavy hitters, I think is what he referred to
Yep.
everybody else. Yeah.
Yep. And it's good to see some of us that are hitting our third quarter or calling timeouts in our later third quarter. See young people like y'all coming in that we know the facilities world is in good hands when we decide to hang up our cleats, so to speak.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? Is to I'm not that young, but I barely made it under that threshold of for YP of the year. But yeah, that's the goal is to help usher in and learn as much as I can from all the heavy hitters that I know. So
Exactly. Exactly. You ready to have some fun?
yeah, of course,
Okay.
it's
I
Friday.
started every show the same. I'm
All
going to
right,
give you rapid fire.
go
First
for
word
it.
that comes to mind, go ahead and answer.
Yep,
So, coffee, tea, Diet Coke, or something else?
coffee, always
Morning
coffee.
person or night owl?
Morning,
One word your team would use to describe you.
curious.
One word your friends would use to describe you.
Mom,
Planner or problem solver?
planner so that I can be a good problem solver.
Okay. Okay. Last one. Does pineapple go on pizza?
It can. It doesn't have to, but it can. I like it. So yes.
Okay. Show's over, guys. Sorry.
That's all, folks.
No, let's go ahead. Let's get into everything, Liz. So,
Okay.
you said something interesting about what your friends would say about you. Mom.
Yeah.
Tell me about mom life.
I do not have kids, to clarify. Love kids, want kids, don't have them yet. But it's the like running joke that I am the mom of the friend group. I'm the one who's always like making sure that everyone has what they need, that whatever shenanigans we're getting into are safe, planned, all the things. Um, yeah.
So
So I'm the
that's
mom
where
of the
that
group.
planner and problem solver comes in.
Yeah, it has always been part of my personal life and just who I am. So I would say it has leached into my professional career, not the other way
Awesome.
around.
Awesome. Because we all know that the best laid plans of going out at night need problem solving later in the night, right?
Usually, yeah, usually they do. Yeah.
So let's jump into facilities and let's talk a little bit about that since the show is called Facilities First. But what does a normal Liz day look like in facilities?
For me, it's a mix of, again, kind of merging my personal life with my professional life. I'm checking LinkedIn first thing in the morning because I'm a crazy LinkedIn fanatic. So that's a big part of it is just what's going on out there in the ecosystem and what can I learn and what are the happenings of the day. Lots of emails and strategy meetings with finance and real estate and all the folks here at Tractor. Usually some connects things because I'm heavily involved in quite a few different committees and foundation work and things like that. And working with our partners, that's a big piece of it too. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not, again, kind of solving problems and connecting with everyone that we work with, whether that be external vendor partners or the cross-functional departments here at Tractor. I think facilities is very much that center of spaghetti junction, if you will, for
Okay,
so many
Johnson, I
things.
love that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. So let me take you back to 12-year-old Liz. And we all had our dream job. We all had our dream career. I think I wanted to be a lawyer. And then
Mm.
life really happened. And how did you end up in facilities?
Yeah. 12-year-old me wanted to be a marine biologist. And like so many kids, like working with animals and the beach. And, that's what my mind thought it was, at least, was every day at the beach and swimming with whales, which is not what it is. But yeah, facilities found me. I have worked retail for a long time, just in operations, and then kind of more on the supporting leadership side in my previous role and company. And a recruiter on LinkedIn found me for a facilities coordinator role at Tractor, and the rest is history. I, you know, came in under Mariah Kingan, whose praises I will always sing, that I know Steve also sang last week. Um, but she really just, brought me under her umbrella of influence, and I've just been trying to soak up every second since. And
That's
I
awesome.
so loved facilities and all the people that I've met and how nuanced it is, and everything. So
Did you when they called you up and said, "Hey, I'm looking for a facilities coordinator," did you have to go Google it?
a little bit, yeah, I definitely had to do some research because I knew that there was a system of ferries that kept buildings open, right, out in the world for every building that there is. But I didn't know that it really could be a true career. I didn't know what all it entails, so to speak. A job description for facilities typically covers very little of what the job actually is. I think a lot of people in FM would speak to that, and how
Mhm.
it's different every day, but definitely had to do some Googling and some researching to know what I was getting into.
I always tell people if somebody ever says, "Do you want to be a facilities manager?" the one question you have to ask yourself is, "Can you be Gumby?
Mm-hmm.
Are you flexible and can you
Yep.
shift on a dime?"
Yep.
Because it may be a HVAC at one place, and then the next thing you're dealing with, somebody ran into the store.
Yep.
So you never know what you're going to get.
But I
So
think
we,
you can know that you're going to see all of it at some point,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
something.
and and I'll tell you, the war stories y'all have is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Some of the ones I've heard, I'm like, oh my gosh.
What?
So
Yeah. Yeah.
let me ask you. Go
I
ahead.
posted on World FM Day, a bunch of some of the craziest pictures that we've gotten in the last year here at Tractor exclusively. And yeah, you would not
Well,
believe some
that's
of the
a
things.
great lead in. What was the craziest picture you've seen?
Picture, I really, not that I should like it, but I really like the one that is just a giant, for us, hay barn that is just on fire, up in smokes. The whole thing, it's more than a dumpster fire. It is a trailer fire.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that, yeah, as a, not a good thing to happen, obviously, but as a story, as a, here's a picture of what facilities looks like on any given day,
Yeah.
speaks volumes. Yeah.
And it fits with Tractor Supply.
Mm-hmm. It sure does. It sure does.
A
Hay is
hay barn
highly
on fire.
flammable. Yeah.
So you talked a little bit about Connects and you talked about how involved you are.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing about this community is it really is a community.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that the word family is so overused about culture and companies and everything, but truly everybody in the facility world have this community, this family bond
Yeah.
that the older people are willing to help the younger people. The vendors on my side, we're willing to sit down with other vendors and tell them ideas.
Yeah.
And so what do you enjoy most about just being in the facilities industry and being in Connects?
Yeah. I think for me, what it all kind of comes down to is that everyone just wants to be of service, whether that be to, like for us, our customers are the folks in the stores. We want to be of service to them. We want to make sure that they are safe, have everything that they need to be efficient and operating at their, at their fullest. But for our vendor partners, it's the same thing. They want to be of service to us and make sure that all of our needs and emergencies and daily fires are met and handled appropriately. And, really, um, I think everyone I've met, I get that sense too, is that they want to help you. They want to mentor or support your career growth. They want your business because they want to help you solve problems. It's all, to me, kind of boils down to that want to support each other that you do not get in every industry. You do
Yeah.
not see, in every kind of different atmosphere, and facilities is really special. Connects especially is really special in that way.
It's that true relationship. And
Hmm.
I when I talk about who we work with, I do not say our customers.
Hmm. Yeah.
I say our partners.
Yeah.
Because when we partner with somebody, that means the word partner means you're looking out for each other,
Hmm.
and that's very important. And I laugh because people talk about sales. Sales doesn't have the greatest name,
Yeah.
and I tell people I'm the worst salesman in the world, but I'm great at building relationships, and I think that's where we're starting to see a transition in the vendor world, that they're
Yeah.
understanding it's about the relationships. Your days of walking in and saying, these are my prices, you want to give me your whole portfolio? No, let's
That's
start
hard.
off slow.
Yeah.
Let's dance before we start dating, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah. That's a good
So
metaphor.
let me ask you this: facilities, like you said, you knew there were these fairies out there that somehow kept the store running and the lights
Somehow.
on
Yeah.
and every light working. What is the one thing you could tell somebody who is not in facilities and help them, you'd want them to understand?
I think that you use Gumby. I'm gonna use like an octopus that has 8 arms in, different pots, and like with the brain of like an elephant. Of, you have to clock and remember and log repair history and nuance with landlord ownership, and is the for retail, is the store profitable enough to justify this, and what do the assets look like, is it time to replace them, or can we fix this one component? And I think it's just so much of knowing what's going on in the broader picture, kind of planning so that you can solve the individual problems that come up. I think everyone in facilities probably would say something similar, that you have to really have a pulse on all the things that are happening all the time, or be able to find it quickly to make decisions, and make sure that we're upholding our commitments to stakeholders and all of that stuff, but also doing what's right, and being of service to our customers, whoever they are.
And you guys and girls really are juggling plates on those eight tentacles. I mean, y'all are
Hmm.
spinning them.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the most underestimated things about facilities is how many different hats you guys
Mhm.
can wear in an 8 hour day.
Yep.
Of course, most of y'all's days are 12, 14 hours.
I was going to say probably more than 8, but yes.
Yeah, because it is Friday and you know at 4 o'clock, I'm not going to jinx you, but you know what's going to happen.
I'm knocking on wood. You can't see it. I'll knock on wood here, but yeah, don't jinx us.
I do not know what that is. I'm actually I'm not at the house right now, and so I'm transmitting from somewhere else, and there's a
Mhm.
noise that's going off.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the two initials that COOs don't necessarily like, but facility managers love: preventative maintenance (PM).
Hmm. Yeah.
So, how, as a facilities person, are you able to show the value beforehand to the meeting counters, the people who are making your budget, who are working
Yeah.
with you on your budget? How do you try to show them the value?
I think PMs are one way. It's a very important big piece of that pie. But I think in general, it's making sure that your story and your narrative and what you're trying to accomplish through facilities as a long-term strategy, because it should be, is heard and understood and valued. Because facilities is typically seen as just a money out bucket, but truly, if it's running as it should, you can drive revenue, you can uncover savings and problems that would have gotten bigger later down the road. You can encourage brand loyalty. Like, there's so many things that I think facilities is capable of if we have the resources to do it.
Yeah.
That that is the story that needs to be sold and told to stakeholders. That, you know, break fix is fine, and sometimes we have to do that. I think retail especially is probably the industry as a whole that's impacted by that the most. If sales are flat, you're not going to make big investments
Yeah.
in facilities typically. But I really think that telling that story and showing those small wins, or saying, hey, we found this, frequent issue that really is a flaw in the design when we're building new locations, that, isn't, no one's aware of it until it's handed off to facilities. But here's how we could fix it, or here's our recommendation on how we could, you know, not spend 300 grand, on every store, whatever that looks like. That's maybe a high number, but you know what I'm saying, is
Yeah.
is finding those wins early and making sure that you're screaming them from the rooftops, and telling that story is super important.
And I think that's one of the best descriptions I've heard about PM and how to work with it,
Yeah.
because it is true that you have to tell the story, but you also have to incorporate it into the brand future and the
Hmm.
protection of the brand.
Yeah.
And so when you come at it looking at that, it's speaking the COO's language.
Hmm. Yeah.
You're not just saying I need it because it's going to last 30% longer. You're incorporating the whole thing in there. So if you're new in facilities and you want to know how to talk to somebody about PM, that's the answer right there. So great job on that. So
Thanks.
let's switch over to your favorite part, your vendor partners.
Hmm.
So when you're choosing them, how do you know they're right?
I think for me, and again, I haven't been in facilities the longest, but I think it's pretty apparent early on to distinguish who's going to be a true partner, and maybe who, is just trying to make a sale. I think showing care and doing the legwork of researching, your potential partner is really important. Don't pitch to me if you've never been to one of our stores. Don't. I think there's a line between asking questions for context and clarity and trying to help solve problems, versus asking questions because you genuinely don't know who you're pitching to. And I think that is one thing that, early on is easy to tell, and can show, hey, this person actually, or this company actually wants to work with us and not just work for us and cut a check. I think that's the biggest thing for me. And again, I think that a lot of folks on the FM side would agree that, it's kind of easy to spot sometimes.
And I would agree with that. And for any of you younger vendors that are getting into this, or anybody that's new to the facilities world, do your research first.
Mhm.
Learn about your people and learn about the company. But more, I like to learn about the people,
Yeah.
because people truly buy from people. And
Hmm.
it's an old adage that we've always said, but you want to trust somebody,
Yeah.
and you want to know that they're looking out for your best interest. And so that's I grew up in Texas, So
Mhm.
Tractor Supply was kind of like Neiman Marcus for us. But yeah, I love Tractor Supply. Spent many times in there.
Yeah, keep going there. Keep buying stuff. Everyone listening, go visit a tractor. You'll be surprised at what you'll find.
I Hey, I will say I never bought overalls in there, but you know,
Yeah.
never had that
Maybe it's
costume.
time. Maybe it's time. Yeah.
Let's Don't challenge me.
I want to see a picture of you in overalls on LinkedIn by end of next week.
Okay,
That's my challenge
next
here.
week.
Yeah.
Okay, I will get some.
All
Now
right.
they may not be blue jean overalls. They may be a crazy color, but I'll get
No
some. I'll
parameters.
look on
Yeah.
Amazon after we get off. So, what is one leadership lesson you had to learn the hard way?
Mm. I think I'm still learning it to a degree. But I think the shift from being the doer, the executor, the person who knows how every little thing can or could be done, shifting into delegating or trusting and kind of relinquishing control. But I think trust is the bottom line there of knowing that someone else can do their part of the project or whatever it is and do it well, and not having to, I won't say micromanage because I don't feel like I'm a micromanager, but not having to dictate how it's done. I think I think I have been guilty in the past. I'll self um, telling myself here that I've been guilty of thinking that my way was the best way before, and I have learned so much over the last couple of years with my current team that people working in their own ways is a strength. As long as you all have the same kind of north star and working towards the same goal, they can do it their way, and there's a lot of value in that.
And I think that's true because there are so many ways to skin a cat.
Hmm.
And where our mind might work and we're like, this is the way. And you know, the operators, I know in your side, back when I was in the restaurant hospitality world, we didn't have the educational facility managers.
Hmm.
They were just the ones that came in, told us what was wrong, and we fixed it.
Yeah.
But that's a big part of what y'all are doing these days is y'all are educating the operators. And what I'm seeing is I'm seeing some keen operators
Hmm.
that know a lot more about facilities than they used to.
Yeah.
And kudos to you guys for doing that and putting that push into play.
Yeah. I think it's necessary at Tractor specifically. All of our FAM, facility associate managers, is their titles. We call them FAM. But each of our FAM team members are an SME for a specific trade or a specific kind of cross-functional partnership. They own learning everything about fire life safety and how we partner with our risk teams, and twice a year they're putting that out to our team and facilities, but also we're looking at how do we educate the stores better about what this means for them at their level, and how this and that can make them be more efficient or have less time, downtime, and all that kind of stuff. So I think just like the constant education, and to your point, FMs being a lot more educated is definitely a trend that I'm seeing at other companies and my friends in the industry too.
Well, and like you said earlier, it's part of that protecting the brand.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, it's owning it and taking that ownership. So when whether it's you doing a store audit or the GM or the head of the store doing a walkthrough, and they own it, it's
Hmm.
theirs, and ownership goes a long way.
Yeah.
And we've all been in places in retail or restaurants that there wasn't a lot of ownership, you could tell.
Yeah.
But
Facilities is on the P&L. They want to know,
yeah,
the true owners. You're always going to have folks who are, just trying to get by. But the
yeah,
true owners out there, they want to know the what and the how everything's working together because they own the business,
yeah,
So totally
yeah.
agree.
And when their facilities budget, when they beat it by 5% because they knew something
Mhm.
and they help, it's a win. It's
It
a win
is.
for them.
Yeah.
So let me ask you back on vendors, because as a vendor, I love hearing these things.
Yeah.
What does a vendor do immediately that will just, I'm going to say, make you shake your head and damage the trust right away?
I think kind of going back to, educating yourself on the folks you're speaking to and their company is a big part of it. But I think something that I've seen with vendors before is the salesperson or the account manager that you're speaking to is really disconnected from their coordinators or whoever down the line is actually ticket in ticket out on the vendor side, and having to repeatedly say, hey, this is a tractor standard that we really enforce that you guys are not upholding, or this is our requirement in our master service agreement that has to be met. Having to reiterate that multiple times, or the message not trickling down to the folks on the ground on that side, um, that's a trust issue for us, and that shows me that maybe they need to sweep their side of the street a little bit, and clean their own house a little bit and make sure that everyone's talking to each other. I think that's a big one.
And that's, that brings up one of the key words that I always hear is communication
Yeah.
between the vendor and the partner
Huge.
is, I mean, it's huge. And I know with my team, we talk about it a lot is if you recap everything that your vendor or tech told you and put it into chat and just send it to them in their notes, they may not read it right then, but if they ever have any question, they can come back and they know exactly what's going on.
Yep.
And so it's very important, that communication, and especially within your own team. And I've heard this from several facility managers that y'all have your standards, and if if the sales guy comes out, sells you with bells and whistles,
Yeah.
and then you get handed over to an operations team that doesn't know the bell or the whistle, it's kind of hard to keep them going, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's something that I think on the vendor side we can do better as vendors is understanding what your needs are,
Yeah.
and not just trying to be the sales guy or the operations team, but be a true partner. Know what makes Liz tick.
Mhm.
So you know what? We have flown through this because that's what I told you. It just happens. We end
Yeah.
up talking.
We're
So
just gabbing.
just gabbing.
Yeah.
So what should I want to do last three questions? What should every vendor know about facility managers?
Mm. I think um, I think just how many things we're juggling and all the moving pieces at any given time, and that we shouldn't have to, on our side, ever chase anything down, right? Like that communication piece is so important. You referenced like notes and whatever your work order tracking system is, your platform. That is something that um, the paper trail is never going to be a negative for you, right? Like pick up the phone and call when you need to, document it here, but being able to find quickly what we need because we're moving so quickly, or we have hundreds of locations that we're managing, is, you can put our hat on for a minute and take a look and see, what does their day look like? Whatever I'm asking or feeling that I need to call about, is it urgent? Can it be a note in the work order system? Is it actionable, or is it just an inform? All of that kind of stuff, I think, is probably a big one. But just don't give us more problems to solve, or don't ask us what problems can I solve for you. I think that's kind of that context and clarity
Mhm.
question that I kind of mentioned earlier. But other than that, a facility manager or a teen is never going to say no to food. Feed them well. That's another good one. It's a joke, but not.
But not. I mean, hey, the way to everybody's heart is food, you
It
know.
is. It is.
So we're going to end on two fun things.
Okay.
And no matter how many times I can send people these questions, they still have to think about it,
Mm-hmm.
except a couple people. What hill will you die on, whether it's in facilities, operation, leadership, or life?
Yeah, that is a good one. Um, I think that you just have to continue learning and asking questions and being curious and bring people along with you. Um, you can't lead a horse to water, and you can't wait for people to join you or to go with you sometimes. But staying curious and asking questions and finding out the why behind everything is never going to hurt. And making sure that just in general you're developing yourself, but others too, is my kind of purpose, my why in life.
So you're now going to be called Know the Why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's your
Start with
new.
why. Yeah, we've all
I'm going to
read
send you a
that book.
T-shirt with that on there. I'll,
All
I'll
right,
make it and send it to you.
I'll
All
take
right.
it.
So here's the last one, and this is the one that I love the best. What question did I not know to ask you, but I should have asked you?
I think we hit a lot of things, but I think going back to that relationship piece of this and knowing who you're talking to, um, maybe what kind of personal thing are you working on completely outside of your career and your professional life, and not in a self-help way. Like I am throwing the idea around, and I think I'm decided, and I want to join an improv class. Like that's a random, just like no professional value really thing that I want to get into. That maybe gives a gleam into who is Liz outside of Tractor or outside of you know the LinkedIn and professional world. So,
Okay,
what do you got going on in your personal life that you're working on? I guess.
Peyton, we're going to extend this 2 more minutes because I got to dive into this a little more. So, so improv is kind of like acting, right? You go up, the scene is set, and you
Yeah,
go up and you just kind of freewheel it, right?
yeah. That's my
What
understanding. I've never done it.
what made you, or what brought you, or intrigued you about that?
I think because again, personally can be a silly, goofy kind of person. And I've never acted before. I don't really have a desire to, but I think in my mind, an improv class would just be a silly, goofy time. And, not necessarily a quote hobby, but something to challenge myself that has maybe no real tangible output though, kind of just like a personal challenge alone. um, i think it I think the challenge part of it would be that it's all a joke, and that you have to just fully commit and not be embarrassed and in any way shape or form. So I don't know, I've seen clips and in movies and TV of people doing an improv class, and it looks absolutely ridiculous, and there's
Yeah.
a part of me that's like, I can use more of that in my life.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some laughter going on,
Yeah,
and
hopefully, right? You're
laughter
doing
is
well.
good for the soul.
Yeah.
So I will get my overalls.
Hmm.
And the other lesson I learned in life was a dream will remain a dream until you put a date on it, then it becomes a goal. So when are we
Hmm.
starting improv class, Liz?
I looked into it already, and there is one local to Nashville that starts in the end of July, I think it was. So
End of
it's like
July.
a 9 week thing, couple hours a week. So I just need to push the button. This has inspired me.
Well,
I'm just gonna go push the button.
I've got a trip planned to Nashville in the next couple of months, and I've got to visit some people up there. So I might have to come by and see your improv class?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if like outsiders can just come watch, because maybe that would be a good thing for me to do first, or maybe that would dissuade me. So maybe I should.
I mean, we got to get you ready for Connects next year,
Yeah,
because
that,
now that we know you can do improv, you're going to be like the featured speaker.
I don't know about that, but yeah, no.
Liz, I appreciate you coming on, and the sky's the limit for you in this industry, and it's such an honor for me to have you on. And so just keep being you, and thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to come and inviting me. This has been really good. Yeah, thank you so
All right.
much.
Well, once again, this is Paul McCarthy and Liz Cox with Tractor Supply, and thanks for coming and watching Facilities First. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Sweet.
Easy.